Hi everyone, my name is Tamit Saleh and welcome to this week's episode of Tennis Tuesday. If you haven't already, then please do subscribe as I do release weekly tennis videos. My last video was about the ATP Cup, the draw was announced, and also I released a video on the Laver Cup asking if it's a waste of time. If you want to check either of those videos out, I'll be putting a link up here somewhere and also in the description below. Today I thought, with the way the Laver Cup went, it was actually quite entertaining and a thrilling end. I want to list the ups and downs of the Laver Cup. Was it a success? And also how I would improve the Laver Cup for the 2020 edition. So without further ado, let's roll the intro.
Here he is again. That's astonishing.
So the Laver Cup has concluded for 2019. Team Europe have won it again, a third time running now. Personally, I feel like this is bad for the Laver Cup. Team World need to win the Laver Cup. I was actually, even though of course I live in Europe, I'm a European, I was supporting Team World because they're the underdogs. Every year, no one really gives them any chance. And I feel for the Laver Cup, a Team World victory would be best. Now, the tennis community is very split on the Laver Cup. Some people love it, some people don't like it as much, to put it politely. So what I'll do is I'll break it down to each category of a tennis match and see if the Laver Cup gets a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We'll begin with, so when I'm watching a tennis match, this is what I want and I want to witness. We'll begin with great matches. So yeah, I mean, like any of you guys, we don't want to see boring matches. We want to see fun, exciting matches. I believe the Laver Cup gets a thumbs up for this topic as, yeah, I mean, just look at some of the Laver Cup matches. They were brilliant. There was a lot of high quality in there. And watching it, it was actually more like the matches were better than what I thought they would be. Especially the doubles. They're quite fun to watch those. Secondly, great atmosphere. And I believe the Laver Cup gets a second thumbs up for this. The crowd in Geneva, like, I know it's in Switzerland, Roger Federer's home country, it's his home nation, it's his tournament really, it was his idea. But yeah, you cannot deny the atmosphere was incredible. You could hear the crowd just shouting and cheering on Team Europe. And all the tickets were sold out. So it was it wasn't like half empty stadiums, it was packed out. I believe the fact that it's indoors may help with the noise decibels as well. But Laver Cup definitely gets a thumbs up in terms of great atmosphere. Third on this list is great rivalry. Now, for me, this is where the Laver Cup gets its first thumbs down. There's no real rivalry, is there? I mean, Team Europe are so dominant. And like I've said earlier, they've won all three editions now. Team World, Team Europe, there's no real rivalry there. And therefore, I believe Team World need to start winning a few Laver Cups. You can say that it's great to have Federer and Nadal in one team and etc. But that's not a rivalry. That's teammate. So in terms of the Laver Cup, the rivalry is between Team Europe and Team World. For me, there's no rivalry, so it gets a thumbs down. Fourth, star players. Do the star players take part? And I feel this is what really differentiates the Masters 1000s, the Grand Slams to, ATP 250s or Challenger tournaments. And the Laver Cup gets a thumbs up for this. The star players do take part. In Team Europe alone, every single member was in the top 11. So that's 6 players in the top 11 all playing for Team Europe. The best possible, or a lot of the best possible players for Team World also were taking part. So yep, the star players do take part. Thumbs up for Team World. Next on the list, meaningful. Is the Laver Cup meaningful? For me, it gets a thumbs down on this. I just, I like the concept. I think it's great, but there's no history. It's not the Laver Cup's fault, this, by no means, but simply as it's been going on for, this is its third year now, there's no real history in the tournament. I just, would I rather my player win a Grand Slam or even the Masters 1000 than the Laver Cup? I think so. So therefore, for meaningful, it's not getting a thumbs up from me. And also, there's no ranking points attached to it. If it was a case where each player playing in it gets maybe 100 ranking points for each victory, then yeah, it may be a bit meaningful. But at the same time, I can see why there's no ranking points, as it's it's a selected group of players. But yeah, for me, meaningful, thumbs down. The next category is location. For me, the Laver Cup gets a massive thumbs up for this. They're taking tennis to different cities around the world that may not get the big tournaments. Like, for instance, last year in Chicago, it was brilliant. This year in Geneva, next year in Boston. Now, personally, I would have rather seen it somewhere other than the US hosting, as it is Team World. So maybe like Australia or an Asian country. But I can understand why it's in the US, as it's so soon after the US Open. But in terms of location, I think it gets a thumbs up. Second from last, easily accessible. And for me, the Laver Cup gets a thumbs down on this. The ticket prices are said to be very high, which probably helps pay for the large amount of money that's being given to the players for playing in the Laver Cup. And also, it's not on free-to-air TV. You either have to get Amazon Prime or Eurosport in the UK, where I live. And yeah, just the ticket price and all that, not easily accessible for me. And finally, on my categories, what I look for in tennis matches or tennis tournaments, great moments. And I'm sure you can all agree the Laver Cup gets a thumbs up in this one. We've had some incredible moments with Nadal and Federer, the doubles. Last year we had the Djokovic-Federer. Even this year we've had, Nadal, Federer coaching players, coaching Zverev, Tsitsipas. We've had Nick Kyrgios coaching Taylor Fritz. I must say, by the way, Kyrgios seems to take this tournament more seriously than any other tournament, which is funny, as tennis is an individual sport, but Kyrgios seems to thrive in team games. He always puts his most into it. He's one of the biggest cheerers in Team World. He's helping his teammates. He's coaching them. So if only he could replicate this dedication to himself, he'd go places. But yeah, for great moments, the Laver Cup gets a thumbs up. And that concludes my 8 categories. As you can see, the Laver Cup gets 5 thumbs up compared to 3 thumbs down. And for me, it has been a massive success. Whether you like it or not, or think it's a waste of time, it does provide great entertainment. It's a fun tournament. It's different. That's what it is. And yeah, for that reason, I think the Laver Cup is a success. But now I'm going to tell you how I would improve it, or rather what I hope to see in the Laver Cup in 2020. So the Laver Cup has been getting high praise indeed from those involved. Bjorn Borg went as far to say it is the best thing to happen to tennis. And Zverev has said that he wants to play in the Laver Cup every year. So the old generation, the young generation, they're all buying into it. I know they may be saying it to sell it as their ambassadors for the Laver Cup. I feel like some of the celebrations were, the Federer probably just trying to pump up the Laver Cup's importance. But I'm going to ignore all the conspiracy theories, all the it's rigged and all of that. Forget all of that. I'm now going to look at 2020 and how it can be improved, as whether you like it or not, the Laver Cup does seem to be here to stay. For 2020, I want Team World to win. Now, for the first 2 editions, I wanted Team Europe to win, of course. But for the Laver Cup to really kick on now, there needs to be a strong opposition. That rivalry, what I said, it needs to exist now. This was the closest Team World ever came to winning the Laver Cup. And I feel like next year, Team World must win. And to end this video, I'm going to tell you who I would pick for my Team World. I feel like it needs to be a mixture of the old players and the young stars. So in terms of the elder players, these 3 I am hoping will be injury free and back to form for next year. I feel they're the 3 strongest players currently from Team World, or eligible to play in Team World, which would be Del Potro, Nishikori, Kevin Anderson. They've all reached Grand Slam finals. Del Potro, of course, a winner of a Grand Slam. And I feel like these 3 will add that star quality, that experience into Team World next year. 2 players from Team World that I think must stay is Nick Kyrgios and Jack Sock. Nick Kyrgios, he brings it into Team World. He's always up for it. He's raring to go. And he's got quality as well. Let's not forget that. He's got talent. So Kyrgios must be in Team World. And another player I feel must stay is Jack Sock. He brings that quality to the doubles game. I feel like if Team World are going to win the Laver Cup, they need to win the doubles as they have been. So yeah, Jack Sock must play. He's a brilliant doubles player. Now, I'm being ambitious with the top 3. It's very unlikely we'll have Del Potro, Nishikori and Anderson all in form, all fit and healthy again. So I want some younger players in there. Most likely we'll get 2 younger players. So my list of players that I would want in there, depending on how, of course, 2020 goes and who's performing better. Felix Auger-Aliassime, big promise from the young Canadian. Alex de Minaur, the Australian. Francis Tiafoe, Taylor Fritz. He had a fantastic Laver Cup this year. He of course beat Dominic Thiem in the final day, which really gave the momentum shift to Team World. Shapovalov, big expectations for him. He's quite unlucky to lose in the opening day, having had match points. And Riley Opelka. They're all young players, and I feel like if Team World is gonna get new young superstars, it'll be out of those guys. So yeah, that would be my team for Team World. Keeping Kyrgios and Sok. I want Del Potro, Nishikori, Anderson. Any one, maybe two of the three, and then some young players like the ones I've mentioned. Another quick idea for the Laver Cup may be to involve Russia in Team World. Now I know Russia is European in other sports like football, etc. It's classed as European. However, the Laver Cup, it's got its own rules, hasn't it? I mean, like they could put the Russians on Team World. I feel like it'd make it a bit more fair. Maybe we've got players like Medvedev, Khachanov, Rublev, all that could play for Team World as they are Russian. So yeah, maybe that's an idea they could have. 77% of Russia is, of course, in Asia, so not Europe. However, the majority of the population does live in the 23% that is in Europe. So they do identify as Europeans. But you never know, Laver Cup could happen. So yeah, that would be my idea for 2020, how you can improve it. I really want to know what you guys think about this, so please do leave a comment below. As always, I love hearing what you guys have to say, and I try to respond to most, if not all, of your comments. So yeah, let me know, did you enjoy the Laver Cup? Do you still think it's a waste of time, or have you been swayed? And also, how would you improve it for 2020? So yeah, just drop a comment below, and if you've enjoyed this video, do leave a thumbs up and subscribe for future content. Thank you very much.
Game, set, and match. Game, set,